financial experts, stockbrokers, accountant, economics, we have come to see that the financial system is being used by both legitimate and illegitimate stakeholders. And for somebody to take arms against the states, that is terrorists, it is not a one-day affair. And we can see that even all over the world. Somebody even reminded me that somewhere in, is it Cambodia or where, that they fought terrorism for over 20 years. In Nigeria here, we've been fighting terrorism for over a decade. And the question is, where are they getting their funds? Is it that the financial system is not being monitored to see how some of these funds are being wired to them? But like we all know, experts in finance, that they have a lot of schemes that they use to get their funding. And if we don't monitor the financial system very well, we will see that these people will continue, and they will begin to acquire sophisticated arms and ammunition that will make life unbearable for all of us. So the financial crime expert should look into it very well. It is not using what they call the kinetic method, that is military whatever, that will end terrorism in the country. We have to block their source of funding. Not only source of funding, source of logistic. I saw in the news today, they said they arrested somebody who was buying fuel and taking to give terrorists in their bandits in their camp. So you can see, if you're able to do all that, we'll see that we'll have been able to begin to win the war against banditry and terrorism, and of course other violent crime in the country. So terrorist organizations require financial support, yes, for them to really operate, because you are even the recruitment process. They recruit people, they feed people, they have a camp. These people are not spirits. So who are these persons that deal with them, supply them, and they get paid?
Yes.
If you supply them food, they will pay you. Supply them fuel, they will pay you. So they require financial support in order to achieve their aims. And a successful terrorist group, like any criminal organization, is therefore one that is able to build and maintain an effective financial infrastructure. So by the time our financial crime investigators, the EFCC, other stakeholders, we are able to infiltrate and see that their structure, we can block the source, and of course they will not be able to do the kind of things they are doing today. Yeah, it's also generally believed that terrorist organizations raise funds by several means, and the one that's even making me a little bit scary is self-financing, and it's through their members or sympathizers, because those ones, their funds are legitimate. Somebody can be in Lagos here, is doing a legitimate business, and at the end of the day, if he's being paid salary or the profit he has made, he will wire some of them to the group because he has sympathy for them. It becomes very difficult for you to detect that kind of financing for the terrorists. Yes, because you can see that the man is doing his legitimate business. You can see, but the salary or the profit, he has a way of wiring it to his compatriots wherever they are. It can even be in the form of buying material, logistics for them and sending it across to them. So self-financing is one method that these people use in financing their operation. We also have, we're even seeing legitimate sources, such as the abuse of charities or legitimate businesses. Then, of course, criminal activity. These are some of the ways they use. Then state-sponsored activities in failed states and other safe havens, like some parts of our northeast, even our northwest, you see terrorists collecting tax from people to allow them to go to their farm and for them to make harvest and all that. So these are some of the ways in which terrorists are able to fund their operation. Terrorists often control funds from a variety of sources around the world and employ increasingly sophisticated techniques to move these funds between jurisdictions. So you can see you're not able to detect. But as financial experts, as financial investigators, that's what we call red flag, especially for compliance officers. Somebody comes to your firm, maybe at a stockbroking firm, buy this, buy that. Price is good, they're telling you sell. They're not interested in whether they are making profit or not. But all they want to do is to kind of create activities in that account that will even confuse you as the expert. You should raise red flag. And when they always tell you, they give you a certain account, pay not to their own account, you begin to raise red flag. And I'm sure most of the compliance officers today in the industry are being trained to detect when there are red flags, and they make that known to the regulators, might be NFIU. To manage their finances, they draw on the service of professionals such as bankers, accountants, lawyers, stockbrokers, who take advantage of a range of financial services products. So you can see they make use of the financial service. And it is professionals like us that even assist them to do this. Okay, so how should a firm react to a suspected fraud? Yes, I know that in the financial service industry, let's take the banking industry for example, they don't want to really report some of the fraud that happens because they don't want to create what we call investors' confidence to be at a very low. But we are saying you should put measures in place. There should be control. We always say there should be at least about 3 levels of control. You're talking of as there is a risk manager, there is a compliance, and there is audit. These 3 levels of control should be in place so that you are able to detect when a fraud is being committed, or you nip it before it's actually committed. Prevention is better than cure. So how should a firm react to a suspected fraud? A financial institution should take appropriate action where a corporate customer, a member of its senior management, or a senior representative of the customer is the subject of an investigation by law enforcement agency or regulatory body. Financial institutions must also consider any obligation they might have to report suspicions of money laundering, including any successful fraud. Again, that reminds me of the quality of persons that we have in our financial institutions. The CBN, SEC, the NGS group, and other regulators, they have put in a lot of measures in place. Once you suspect a transaction, there is nothing stopping you from making that report. It is called suspicious transaction report. That does not mean that the customer is already guilty. No, but you just have to make the report. A customer comes to your firm, let me use the stockbroking firm, and they keep giving you cash. Of course, there are limits to the amount of cash we can collect. And in fact, I know with the what we call the MOS, minimum operating standard, no trading license holder even wants to collect cash from you. The highest they can do is say, okay, oh, that is the bank across the road there. Go and pay in your cash and come with a teller. But if person comes, they know that we cannot collect more than 50,000 naira. It comes, use different fronts. They come and pay 45,000 almost on a daily basis. Then you should raise a red flag. Okay, so customers, consideration should also be afforded to obtaining appropriate legal advice to reduce the risk that customers transfers or move fraudulent funds or use the bank illegally. Use the bank illegally. You know, there must be some collusion with the bankers. Transfer or deposit assets, including money or other negotiable instruments. Construct trust claims. Constructive trust claims are made against the bank by third party arising out of disputes between the third party and the bankers and the bank's customer. So we can see that all these methods they are adopting to disguise the source of their fund. You will not know where these funds are coming from. And that's why we have said KYC is a key to solving most of this financial crime. The financial system, you must know your customer. You must know the nature of his business. A customer that has been giving you 100,000, 200,000, all of a sudden, now deposits 10 million. Then you should raise that flag. You are not saying the customer is guilty already, but you should raise that flag. Let's go for a short break. Okay, so asset under management are not negotiated without proper authority in law when the subject of an asset forfeiture or restraint order issued by a court. Okay, so how do you motivate employees to fight fraud? Because you need employees to buy into your vision of preventing financial crime. The foundation of any successful fight against fraud is the culture within the institution. It must start from the top. Then other people will buy into it. When correctly motivated, employees remain honest and become the most effective frontline defense against fraudsters. I have worked in financial institutions where poor motivation, you see your staff conniving with fraudsters. Yes, because at the end of the day, they will get something. So you should motivate your staff very well. Employees become motivated when they believe that their institution is honest and ethical in its business dealings, including dealings with customers, suppliers, and employees. If your employees see that in your own transaction, you are not honest. You buy a security for a client at a price, because the client is ignorant, you say this is the price you have bought, and the employees are seeing it. There is no way they will be motivated to assist you to fight crime, to fight financial crime. There is no way. So you must be ethical in your dealings. That their employer treats them with respect, reward them fairly, impose discipline fairly, and where regrettably redundancy becomes necessary, carries this out fairly. That fraud prevention is a common objective throughout the organization at all levels, that they have been trained to play their part in the fight, and that their efforts are acknowledged. So you can see, you can motivate your employees to begin to be your first line of defense when it comes to financial crime prevention. Why is insider dealing relevant to financial crime professionals? Yes, it's very, very relevant because this is a major financial crime, and we have to start thinking about the prevention of this insider dealing. So people will say insider trading. Who is an insider in a company? And how do they make use of inside information to benefit not only themselves, their cronies? So insider dealing is a very serious securities fraud in the capital market or in the financial system as a whole. And as financial crime investigators, we should be able to be aware. When you see unusual price movement of a security, you have to monitor. And of course, I know that most of the exchanges we have today even have a surveillance unit that can play the market, that monitors the market and see what each individual trader is doing to ensure that nobody takes advantage. And once those kind of trend is seen, then of course they will call that trader to order. And awareness of what constitutes insider dealing activities is imperative for financial crime and in the detection and prevention of exposure to the activity of serious financial crime. So investigators need to understand what constitutes insider dealing. Unusual share price movement, a potential indicator of market abuse. You know, we have market abuse. There are several types of market abuse. So I think we'll stop here for today, you know, looking at why insider dealing is relevant to financial crime professionals, because we have to look at insider dealing, know what it takes in terms of trying to prevent financial crime. Before I round up today, I will refer us again to EFCC strategic plan 2021 to 2025. Everybody in the financial system today should key into that strategic plan and ensure that we understand what they are trying to do, cooperate with them when they come, and also have a kind of collaboration so that they understand that being professionals in the financial service industry, it is not everybody that is a criminal. They should not come with that kind of mindset. You know, once there is a financial crime being reported, then you begin to suspect the professionals that are there. There needs to be a collaboration so that they can also see things from the perspective of the operators, and the operators to also see things from their own perspective. And there is this collaboration, and I'm very, very sure we're going to be reducing and preventing financial crime. Because the pillars of your strategy, the number one there is prevention. So we don't wait for the crime to be committed. What are the measures we need to put in place to ensure that it is being prevented? That is the first pillar. Second one is public engagement. You need to engage the public. A lot of awareness so that the public will know your role, and try to tie it to you making the economy good so that jobs can be provided for our teeming unemployed youth, instead of every day is yahoo, cyber crime every day. All the conviction EFCC is making is all basically on cyber crime. We want to reduce that. So ethical reorientation. The personnel, the operative of EFCT2 should also have their own standard operating procedure. You don't just because you are trying to fight financial crime, you go and commit more crime. No, nobody is guilty until proven guilty by a law court. You cannot be a judge in your own case. You are a prosecuting agency. Get your facts right. Get all the data before going to prosecute. Enforcement and sanction. Ensure that most of the financial institutions do what they are supposed to do. Recovery and management of proceeds of crime It is very, very essential. Okay? We're talking about NSAT. Somebody said what caused this NSAS agitation is because of the attitude of some very few policemen in that squad. Okay? As somebody sent this to you on my WhatsApp that he was accosted to somewhere last week, somewhere around Festac Alakija, and they saw 7 million naira in his phone account. And he told them it is his mother that transferred the money to him. You know, he's a student, the mother is an entrepreneur. And because of that money, they carried it straight to, I don't know where they took him to, and forced him to transfer 1 million to them. And you begin to wonder, have we not learned our lessons? For me, that is a real financial crime. That is not even only financial crime, that is violent crime, because they were there with their guns. And these are people who are supposed to enforce the law. And at the end of the day, after they made so many calls and all that, they were now meant to say, okay, they're going to refund the money, that. And as allegedly, as I was being told, that a senior officer said, okay, they should bring 300,000. That is, instead of giving this victim their complete 1 million, they have to deduct 300,000. And it was 700. They have now become a debt recovery agency. And I'm wondering. But of course, the people involved didn't take it and say no, they must. And after much making so many calls from high places, they were refunded back the 300,000. So you wonder, and I've seen it so many times. Is it possible you have an issue, you go to the police station, maybe to recover money, and the money is supposed to be, let's take 100,000, the person is going to bring the 100,000, police will tell you, you have to give them their own. And I'm asking. Of course, we're going to get a lawyer on the program to begin to explain some of these things to us, because it is appalling to see that law enforcement has degenerated so low that people just do. I don't know, control, check and balances. Thank you.
Alright, that wraps up the Mr. Education series as well as the After the Business show. Remember to join us for the Nigerian stock market call over. Have an amazing Wednesday evening and stay blessed. Thank you.